It's time once again for another episode of Kids Business Radio. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studio in Atlanta. And now, here's your host, dirk-ebener.
Good morning, everybody, from the studios of Pro Business Channel here in Buckhead. We are live on the air for the first radio show in 2016, and we have a very exciting program coming up. First of all, I want to thank all my guests for being here because the weather, if you look outside, it's a little bit of a challenge for some people around here in the Metro Atlanta area. I want to do a shout out first. I want to say thank you to all of those who are out there clearing the streets and roads and making sure that we're safe. So shout out to them. And we have a super interesting program here today. We posted the question, what would you like to learn about entrepreneurship? And we got over 70 questions. So throughout the show, I will go over these questions. I will probably bring them in while we talk. But let me start with introducing our guests, my guests here today. Let me start out with Uriah Bullard. Uriah has been here before. It's great to have you back. Tell us real quick about what you do and what drives you. What is open intro, so to say, for us?
Definitely. Yes, sir. Okay, so like I said, I'm Uriah. I came here, I want to say last March was the first Kids Business Radio that I actually had the opportunity to come on and speak about the chamber on. And so, like I was saying, I'm the president and CEO of the Future Entrepreneurs Chamber of Commerce. And really, we're all about trying to get the message of entrepreneurship and the spirit of entrepreneurship a little more involved and incorporated in our communities and across the world, more so than it is right now.
Super.
And what drives me is just the ability, the thought that I think I can do anything, and just being able to, that thought process. Entrepreneurship really is the action of that thought process. You know, entrepreneur really believes, hey man, I could go out here and accomplish everything. Right. And so when I think that daily, that drives me every day to just wake up and get out there and go after everything that I say I could do.
Super, super. So how can people get a hold of you? Because I know it's sort of like sometimes lost in the message during the radio show. So we want to start up right now. Let us know, how can people reach you?
Okay, so for the Chamber, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all kinds of, and website, social media. That's really where the attention of most people is today. And so the website's going to be www.thefecc.com. And then Twitter and Instagram is official_FECC.
Right.
And then Facebook is Future Entrepreneurs Chamber of Commerce.
So you're all over the platforms.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
So.
Good. Well, welcome again back on the radio show. We'll get back to conversations about entrepreneurship in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to Remington. Remington Youngblood. Also, Remington, you have been here a couple of times, so welcome back to the radio show.
Thank you.
Change for Georgia. Tell me real quick what you would like to share with us today and how people can get a hold of you.
Change for Georgia is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that inspires students to get involved in their communities, and we assist military and veterans.
Super, super cool. And how can people get a hold of you?
They can contact us on our Facebook, which is Change for Georgia, and that's the number 4 altogether. And our Twitter is the same, Change for Georgia altogether. Instagram is c.4.g, and you can get us on our website at www.change4georgia.org.
Perfect. Well, welcome again to the show, and we have a lot of audience sitting in the studio, so welcome to all of you as well, helping us to make this show successful. And I have Leilani Plendl. Hopefully I was doing the right thing. Hey, good to see you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And what are we talking about today, Leilani?
I want to talk about budgeting and financial planning today.
Super, and that's very important for our future entrepreneurs, for every business, basically. And what I have seen over the years is that, it's critical that parents are supporting the cause of the children. So for all of those parents listening in, I'm sure Leilani has a lot of good stuff to share with you as well, so you can learn from her. So do you want to go in, and how can get people a hold of you?
They can find me on my LinkedIn page. I have a professional Facebook page, or at leilani.plendl@prudential.com.
Super, super. Well, let's go in. And, let me read down your bio first. So Leilani is a financial professional associate with Prudential Insurance Company of America. She's licensed in Florida and in Georgia to sell life and health insurance, as well as variable investments. She holds a Series 6 and Series 63 investment licenses. Her background is in education. She taught marketing and management classes for 13 years at universities in the Atlanta area. During that time, she volunteered at her children's schools. Before she began teaching, she spent 8 years at IBM in marketing and in finance. Positions with small software companies preceded that time, as did working with a small business administration at a small business development center in Florida. Education, business, and children are her passions. As a financial professional associate with Prudential, she is able to combine those into a dedication for helping others. So welcome on the show.
Thank you.
And let's jump right in. What is important when starting a business?
It's always important to create a budget and to set the financial goals for anyone starting a business.
And when someone gets into that, where does this budgeting process begin?
It always begins with assessing the financial situation. Where are you now?
And how can we do that? Why is that significant when we are talking about this?
Looking at the financial situation and assessing it is important because it's the plan, it's the roadmap, and it's where you begin. And it's where the business and the individual sits down and they look at their goals. So those goals might be very short term, up to 1 year, or it might be a little bit more of a mid-range. They might be looking at 1 to 5 years. But in addition, they need to look at long-range planning. So they're looking at 5 years and beyond, even up to 20 years. It's all part of the plan. They're looking at the needs, the values, and the situations. And it's not only for the business, but they're looking at that for the individual too, because it all ties together into one. So once they have that set up, the next step in setting the financial plan is looking at the goals. What are the financial goals? And that's where the budgeting begins. So we're talking about the who, what, when, where, and how of the business. When you're setting the budget, you're looking at the fixed expenses.
Can you tell someone, the 8-year-old, what's a fixed expense?
So the fixed expense doesn't change. You're going to have that same expense for your business no matter what. If you produce 100 items or if you have a service for 100 different people, you're going to have that same expense. It could be rent for your building, something like that. The variable expenses are the items that are going to change. So the more items you produce, that cost is going to go up. Or the more people you talk to, you're going to have a cost for individual people you talk to or service. So that goes into the budget. You're looking at projected income. You're looking at priorities. And then the next step is you always have to monitor that. You're monitoring all this closely and constantly. You're looking at the spending. You're looking at the savings. And then you're looking at the investing, and you're always recording that. You're always recording it. You're tracking it. You've got to categorize it, and then comparing it. That's the last step. You always compare to what you spent, what you saved, and what you invested, and it's written out. So you're looking at not just monthly, but you're looking at that yearly. Always going back, reviewing, revising, doing a checkup. How am I doing? And it's very in-depth. And it's okay to make changes. I think that's something some people are scared of. You can make changes. That's why you're doing it. It's all right.
We had on the radio show, I think it was in October, Rich, we had the young ladies from Columbia here who were amazing. They actually borrowed $20 when they were 6, 7, and 8 years old and sort of got into the chocolate business. And, what you just said, there are a lot of these components are part of that planning, And so it's important that individuals like yourself are helping our kids and people to understand at all ages, I'm sure, what it takes in order to get the business financials ready. And I'm guilty as I'm sitting here because I just went over my QuickBooks the other day and was like, all right, now let's go ahead and figure it all out and do the planning. And I'm sticking with the 3-year plan because I think that that's a little bit closer to monitor. But it's great that you share that with us because people often forget these details. They sort of just see what's in their pocket, but they don't understand what they have to invest in order to get that out. So what, you mentioned financial goals. What are the most important things about financial goal setting?
It has to be written down. So a lot of times people have these things in their mind where they're going, and it's never concrete. And making yourself type it out, making yourself write it out, just getting it on paper so it's not just an idea, makes it something that you'll stick by. So
when we talk about this, what is necessary? I mean, is it a software? Is it the understanding? Is it a spreadsheet? I mean, what is necessary to do all that?
I have everything on paper and pencil for
All right.
myself, for
Okay.
my individual financial goal setting, because that's what I like. It's whatever the individual wants. It might be the software, it might be the latest app, it might be QuickBooks, whatever works for you. There is no right or wrong. But the main thing is it has to be realistic, and that is what is important to the business owner. They determine what is realistic. They determine what is attainable and what is within reach. And another thing is that kind of scares people is that it's okay to have small goals. You don't have to say, I'm going to make $1 million in 5 years. Just make it realistic. What am I going to do this week? What am I going to do next week? And again, it's what is important to that individual for their own business. They create what is reality for them. It has to be very specific. So that means measurable. Not that I'm going to make a lot of money, not that I'm going to do something big. I am going to do something very concrete. That is the answering the what, and goes along with that is the time frame. When is that going to be done? In 1 year, I will sell 100 of my products to these people. Again, very concrete with a time frame. Looking at 1 week, looking at 1 month, you're looking at a year. And then the action has to be part of the goal setting. It, again, written down, but you're saying who is going to do that? Who is responsible? Where is it going to be done? And how is it going to be done? A lot of details with a lot of numbers. But again, the individual decides how they are going to do that. That is their reality. That is their dream. And it's okay to make changes, and it's okay to put whatever you want. It's your business.
One of the things that always amazes me is when I watch these TV shows like, Shark Tank or Marcus Lemonis on The Profit, right? Everybody's telling these business owners, have your numbers ready. Have them up and down and back and forth, and make sure that you can tell someone what are your financials, where are you, what is the price, where can you save, can you make it cheaper when you have a larger thing. So I think that's pretty much goes along with what you're telling the listener and the audience here right now, isn't it?
Exactly. It's up to them. I love that.
And so what else would you like to tell us? I mean, what is it that we need to know when we are, talking to individuals with your background?
I love that the fact that children are able to take their passions of what they want to do and put that into a business. So many times people go into a career and it's what they can do, but not what they love.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm able to do. So I love working with kids, I love education, and I love business. And I'm able to put all that together into what I do for my own business and take that forward. And I'm hoping that what I can do is inspire others to take whatever they love, whether it's cats, whether it's dogs, whatever your passion is, take that, run with that, make that your career, and make that your dream.
So give us the top 3 topics that someone really needs to look at when they come to their father or mother and say, I want to start this business, I have this idea. Give them the top 3 or even 5 things that they absolutely have to watch out for.
Well, first of all, like I was saying, get it down on paper. Write up that business plan.
Right.
So you're looking at all aspects of the business and your planning, from financial goal setting and to budgeting. You're looking at marketing, et cetera. And get it down, and then start setting your plan with specific time frames as to what you want to do, when you want to do, and then work with someone. Work with someone that can help you get to those dreams. And it's going to start with your parents, but they're going to help you find others and connect you with others that can help you get to that.
Well, if someone wants to get a hold of you, we said it at the very beginning, but can you run down that contact info one more time, please, so that people know?
So I do have a LinkedIn page. I have a professional Facebook page, or they can connect with me at my email address, leilani.plendl@prudential.com.
Really good. Well, thank you again for being here. I know it's it stopped snowing. It's a little bit out there, but thank you for taking the time to come in on Saturday. It's such an important part of a business, and when kids and young entrepreneurs learn about business, often they are all excited about how they're going to get there, but they don't really think about the financial aspect of it, and all of a sudden they're out of money, and they come to Dad and say, "Oh, Dad, can you give me another $20 for whatever it is?" And I think that it's important, and that's one of the things that we did at Kids Business Expo. We had a lot of different workshops last year in February, where we were really focusing on how can we help young entrepreneurs to get a better understanding about what it takes to start a business, because there's a lot behind it. And I think that a lot of the kids who attended Kids Business Expo last year in February had that opportunity and firsthand learned it from Marcus Lemonis, who was there and who really engaged with the audience. But his message always was, know your numbers, and tell people what you're really about and what you're really excited about. Talking about youth inspiration. I mean, if I'm looking at Remington Youngblood, who is next, who sits here right next to me, let me run down his bio because it's mega impressive. As the president founder of Change for Georgia, his mission is to inspire and connect students with community service. He serves on the advisory board of About Face, a veteran support program, and the junior board of Children Helping Children. He's a teen editor of Voices magazine and completed a human interests internship for the Morning Coffee radio show. He is an inspired speaker, and he has done it for 4 years and spoken at over 100 venues. As a freshman at Lambert High School, he's a member of the Health Occupations Students of America, Compass, and Key Club. As an associate of Future Business Leaders of America, he is the freshman vice president. He serves on the Georgia State Student Advisory Council, the Forsyth County Superintendent's Student Advisory Board, and the Forsyth County Committee for Food and Nutrition. He has earned a second degree black belt in Taekwondo and a first degree in Karate. He enjoys graphic design and multimedia applications, snow skiing and water sports, and he attends Brownsbridge Church and is aspired to be a
Pediatric.
Thank you.
Pediatric radiology oncologist.
Awesome. Right. That was a mouthful. I mean, I was like wearing out here. Sorry.
That's okay.
Remington, welcome to the show. I just told you in the elevator when we were riding up together, I said, you're on this health program and you're giving me 2 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts. So thanks so much for that. That was awesome. All right.
Well, as long as you don't eat them all,
No, I will not.
I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I wouldn't recommend that.
Well, I don't know. If I put them in the microwave and have a glass of milk with it, I'm not sure where I will end up with those. So, how are you making a difference with all of the things that you do? And that's just a short intro of what you do. I mean, it's amazing. Whenever I talk to you or to your parents, it's stunning how you take the time. And, I have a brown belt in Taekwondo, and I know how hard I work for that one. And I'm just thinking about all the things that you do, plus the sports, plus all the rest of the things. I mean, it's amazing. So how are you making a difference? Tell us about what you do new, the recent community involvement. Give us a rundown.
Well, we really just try to inspire and connect students. That's our main number one goal. But along with inspiring and connecting students, we have several other branches under that. And we have different initiatives that we power where we bring flowers on to see them, just make flower bouquets. We play with them sometimes. We toss the balloon back and forth, and that's a lot of fun. We have Cookies for Courage, which is where we bake cookies, cupcakes, brownies, things like that, and bring them to local fire stations or police stations, just thanking them for what they do for our community and for their bravery. We have Read Across Forsyth. This is a program that I was inspired to start by the First Lady Sandra Deal's initiative, Read Across Georgia. And what we do is we read to preschoolers during summer months and help them make cards and crafts to send to the troops overseas.
Awesome.
And we started Read Across Forsyth in the winter, around winter too, because one of our members, Abigail Edgar, she started a Notes to the North Pole, which is kind of along the lines of that, which is where they write letters to Santa and holiday cards. So that's a lot of fun for them, and just asking the kids what they want for Christmas and reading them Christmas books. So we really enjoy doing that. That's just along the lines of some of the things that we do.
Well, when I look at your Facebook Facebook, I see all these cherry people that are involved with it. Most of them are students.
Yes, sir.
And so shout out to all the students that are deeply involved in community affairs. I think it's great that, they take time to help others and really inspire the younger generations. So when I look at these photos, I see a lot of interaction, and that seems to be something that you really like to do, right? To
yes, we have over 120 members, and we all get along really well, all great kids. They all help out. Probably almost all of our members are active in some events throughout the year, which is outstanding.
And when I look at the events, tell us a couple of events that you plan, that you have in the pipeline right now.
Well, right now we have our Krispy Kreme donut fundraiser going on.
Oh, yeah, the elevator. Yes, okay.
Yes, you all heard about that, Mr. Ebener and his donuts. But we have that going on right now, and we're just selling donuts to raise money for student veteran scholarships. So we're just going around our neighborhoods and selling them to people, and it's going really, really well. Our goal is for each member to sell 10 boxes, and that's 120 times 10, which I believe is 1,200, if I can get... Is that right? I believe so. But anyways, we're just planning on having each member sell 120 boxes of 10 boxes of donuts. But that's what we plan to do with that event. And also we have going on throughout the year our Keep Forsyth County Beautiful, which is have you all heard of the Adopt a Road program?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we adopted a road, but it's not just like any old road. It's right in front of the Army National Guard. So that's how we're relating that to the military, so all the servicemen and women can have a clean road to pull into when they pull into the Army National Guard. It's about a mile long, and we do that quarterly.
And so you collect and you help and keep it beautiful. I think that means a lot to our troops when they see that we care about what they do out there. So, kudos to you for that program.
Thank you.
What I always have enjoyed is the fact that you are working with the youth, that you are bringing together the social entrepreneurship element of what is out there. How can someone who is, ready to jump in and clean the roads or love selling, donuts, how can they get involved? How can they contact you? And what would be your first recommendation for them?
Well, my problem was when I was starting up, I was too young. That's what everyone said to me. You're too young. Things like you'll be a liability. Soup cans might fall on your head. Sorry, we can't have you. But I really wanted to help out others because that has been a big part throughout my entire life. Ever since third grade, I've been helping others. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to stop there. So I went to my mom and asked if I could start my own organization, and she said, it's a lot of hard work, but if you want to put in the time and effort, I will help you out. So my message to younger students would be, don't give up. No matter what people tell you, never give up. If they tell you, no, you're too young, it'll fail, it'll never work, do not listen to them. Go by what you think and go by your dreams and just follow your heart.
One of the things, and I know that Kaylin is trying to, help around with the animal shelters, and she gets that message. You're too young. But I believe that your message is such an important, strong message, telling not only the kids, but also the parents. And I think that's very important because, you have to have the support of the parents in this program.
Yes.
In order to move forward. So what are some of the top things that kids come to you or young entrepreneurs come to you and say, what do you think about that?
Well, also, I just want to say one more thing along the lines of what I was saying just a minute ago. One of my favorite sayings about that is fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
Nice. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Can we tweet that out? I like that.
Hashtag.
Hashtag it. And so if you have these young students coming together, how often, how frequently are you reaching out? What is your time schedule on these things?
Well, we're constantly having kids contact us on social media or email saying, hey, I want to get involved. In fact, since I'm on the Georgia Georgia Students Advisory Committee for the Board of Education. I'm not really old enough for that yet. But I spoke to the high school level and the middle school level. And there's about 50 students in each, and I probably had 7 or 8 kids contact me saying, hey, I want to get involved in the organization, or hey, how can I start something that's like what you're doing? So I'll just give them information. Well, first off, you have to contact your principal. And then after you contact your principal, you'll have to find a teacher sponsor to start the club at your school. You'll have to get members, have applications filled out. You can start different programs, like just different initiatives to do. We can't have them start actual Change for Georgia chapters because of liability and legal issues, but we're just telling them to start their own organizations that are like Change for Georgia. And just they can do some of the stuff that's along the lines of what we're doing. So we are always having kids contact us of how they can get involved or what they can do to help in their community.
So do you have a checklist that you can send them or a program, or can they go on your website and sort of download things from there?
Not necessarily. We typically just have them contact me and they email me specific questions, and I'll answer all those questions and give them a few extra more details. It's actually a good idea to have that on the website. I'll look into that.
Okay, good. Here we go. Accomplishment. Hey, awesome.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's right. So from your point of view, how important is the aspect of support in the classroom for something like this? The schools are out there. Everybody's looking at schools. Everybody's using this as an opportunity to learn. But do you think that social entrepreneurship and things like this should be part of our school programs?
Absolutely. A problem that a lot of kids have is they can't communicate. They don't know soft skills. Mm-hmm. They can't shake hands. They can't make eye contact. Right. I mean, they can shake hands, but they have a weak handshake.
Right, exactly.
Kids need to know how to interact in the business world,
Absolutely.
like a firm handshake, look them in the eyes when job interview, don't slouch back, wear nice things, don't have like nose rings, piercings, tattoos showing. Just have a professional look about yourself and be serious about what you're doing, because if you're going to go into the business world, obviously you don't want to be lackadaisical and careless about everything. So you have to be serious and know what you want to get accomplished in that moment.
One thing, let me sidestep here real quick, because there is a program at McEachern High School over in Cobb County, and Joshua Ford, who has been on the radio show a couple of times, is spearheading that. And they have a program where the kids will go through 3 levels of education in order to get ready. The first one is they need to learn how to write a resume. That's part number 1. They have to sort of go through that program step in order to graduate to the next level.
Absolutely.
And the next level is really the networking level. How do I network? How do I interview? So once they go through the interview process and have that done correctly, then they go to the networking. And after the 3 steps are completed, they are invited to the career fair. And I think that's very important for us as business leaders, is to become involved in our schools and in clubs and get involved in order to teach the students and the youth that we are there to help and share our knowledge and our information. So it's very important that we do that. So shout out to McEachern, shout out to Mr. Ford, to make sure that when we have these programs that we're in. So if you're interested in going out to have that March program and have a table there, I'm sure Joshua Ford would love to have that. If you're interested, send me a quick email or text, and I will connect you with Joshua Ford. Go ahead.
Also, another really major, important key in business is, even when you're young in high school, is to have a LinkedIn page. Now, you might think, I don't have much to put on there now because I'm 14 or 15,
right.
But throughout high school, if you keep being involved in your community and just doing different things, your resume, it's kind of like a resume social media page, and it'll just keep building and building and building. Because I've had a LinkedIn page since middle school, and I've just kept putting things on it. And I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, because this will help kids out a lot. We've inspired several of our Change for Georgia members to get LinkedIn pages, and they've been updating it frequently, and it just looks really impressive to jobs and colleges. Because when kids, even with social media, if they also put a lot of bad things on there, but if you also don't want to do that. But if you have that LinkedIn page, a positive social media with good things that you've accomplished of helping others and things like that, that's very impressive to businesses, I would think. So that's very important.
And to just feed into that, businesses will check you.
Yes.
I can guarantee you they will go on LinkedIn, they will go on Facebook, they want to know if the person they will hire will represent them correctly and professionally out there. And, it's exactly down the line what we are telling the students in the high schools when I go in and talk about networking and the handshake you're talking about and having the resume. You don't have to have 5 years of experience in order to get a job, but you have to be able to give that elevator pitch.
Exactly.
You have to be able to tell someone in 30 or 60 seconds what you're doing. And what I'm always saying to people, to youth is, you can sit at a Wendy's or any restaurant or any place and you overhear a conversation. Somebody's talking about a job that is available at their company. And if you have that 30, 60 second ready, your chances of getting that job or at least being invited to this interview is awesome. And on top of that, you might want to think about investing $10 to get some business cards.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that you have to have a company and a logo and everything on it, but how powerful is it if you are in a restaurant, overhear that conversation, you can give them the 30-second pitch or 60-second pitch, and then you can follow up by saying, and by the way, here's my information, let me give you my business card. I mean, that's blowing people out of their shoes right there and then, right? And so having that information linked in, have a page, and be able to communicate effectively is very critical. So thank you for sharing that in encouraging kids to really do that.
No problem. And also along the lines of the elevator pitch,
Yeah.
is not to talk too fast or try to cram too much in there in the short amount of time. You want to get just the key details, because I remember at the Kids-Business-Expo, Marcus Lemonis, when I went up and said my 30-second elevator speech, I thought he said good job, but he did not say that, so I said thank you, and it was very awkward. But he said one of the things I could do better is to talk slower and try not to cram so much stuff in that 30-second.
Yeah, we are really trying to tell everybody everything within such a short period of time. And what I see, not to completely get off topic here, but when you go to networking meetings, and kids should definitely get involved in networking. They should know how to go and socially interact and how to professionally interact. And these networking meetings are an opportunity for you to really learn that from the very beginning. But what happens is that people who go into networking meetings, and I know Uriah, you and I have talked about that many times, that you go into networking meetings and you're trying to sell. And it's not going to fly, because people want to network. They want to learn about you. They want to build a relationship with you. They want to know what you're all about, and not hear in the first 30 seconds what your product is all about and what the price is and how much money you can spend by investing in that company. I think that's something else. But Remington, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you back. And give us again a rundown on how people can get a hold of you.
Thank you. And our social media, again, our Facebook and Twitter are the same. It's change the number 4 Georgia, and there's no spaces in between that. Our email is change the number 4 Georgia@gmail.com. And our website is www.changethenumber4georgia.org.
Thank you so much again for that, and I am sure I will have you back on our radio show a couple of times.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad you liked it.
I love it. Thank you. So Uriah Bullard,
Yes,
welcome to the show. It's great to have
Absolutely.
you back here. Let me give the listener the bio real quick. So Uriah is one of the founders and current president and CEO of the Future Entrepreneurs Chamber of Commerce and recent graduate of the Business Development Initiative. He is also the founder and owner of Digitize Me, an information technology company, and on the side conducts independent study focused on computer science. Throughout the inspiration of God and his business mentors, Uriah is pursuing his passion of becoming an innovator in software development, as well as helping empower youth to grasp a vision of pride and ownership. Uriah co-hosts the Georgia Minority Business Awards held every March and makes sure to take time out of his schedule to volunteer with Hands on Atlanta to teach elementary kid and business principles.
Yes.
Welcome on the show. It's great to have you here.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
I know that your organization is really helping the younger entrepreneurs to find a platform through the chamber. So tell me about when was the FECC founded?
It was founded. It actually was founded in 2012.
Okay.
January of 2012. But we really didn't. I want to say we really weren't a real business till
Right.
maybe 2013, 2014.
Okay.
And that was because, as you learn through entrepreneurship, there's a point in every business where you're going through changes, where you're going through what actually I want to do and figure out exactly how you're going to build your
Right.
business and plan everything out. And so we thought it was going to be quicker than it was. And so it was funny because what we originally started doing was just the idea, okay, let's just go help businesses and, be a chamber. You study. The first thing you do when you start a business is study your competition.
Mm-hmm.
So we studied other chambers.
Good one. I like that.
We studied other chambers and saw what they were doing and how do we incorporate that into what we were going to do. And the challenge was that a lot of the other chambers, nobody really heard of them. And on top of that, they were all marketed towards an older 50, 40-year-old type of a person. And we're 22, 23, 24-year-olds saying, okay, we're going to start a chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So, we went to some of their events, and it was funny because we were the youngest in the room every time, and everybody's trying to figure out how you get in here and who are you and what are you doing. And so, and it was just seeing that type of response was the key. They kind of clicked into our mind, okay, that's where our niche is going to be. Why aren't there any other young people in this room? And why are they so surprised to see us? And why is it such a big deal to have 20-something-year-olds, in this room talking about business? They want you to be in here because, you're going to be the next business leader. You're going to be their next employee. Yeah. And so when we found that out, that was our niche. So then we said, okay, let's center our chamber around developing the younger entrepreneur, developing the younger business professional, and saying, hey, we're going to teach you the business principles, teach you how to start a business, help you network, help you get out here and really start and have this community to kind of help you build yourself. And
now, when we're talking about younger, younger 30s, younger 20s, younger 10s, what is younger?
Younger to us at that point, and still to this day, is anybody that's younger than 50. All
right, okay. I like that a lot.
We found out, especially because it was right after, maybe a year after we got started, we came into the information of the Kids-Business-Expo. And it was seeing that and seeing 10 and 9-year-olds and 8-year-olds saying, I want to go into business. It really gives you the idea that there is no age limit. Anybody can do this.
Exactly.
There are barriers that you have to overcome, such as bank accounts and filing with the Social Security, things like that you would learn, and you have to go through another source. But just being able to say, I came up with the idea and I started something, nobody can take that from you. And so absolutely, there's no age limit to us on being able to start a business.
So you talked a little bit about the fact that there are the established chambers out there,
right,
who have a very important message and platform for businesses of all kinds. Atlanta has over 3,000 international companies. They're employing 160,000 plus people. There's just more and more international companies coming to Atlanta. They all are part of the chambers.
Right.
There is dozens and dozens of business associations out there that are helping local businesses to really expand and be able to learn. There's the Small Business Administration out there that is helping people like me. When I started the business, I had to learn and had to go through a curve all the time to understand what business is all about. But what is the difference between your chamber and the established traditional chambers? Let's put it this way.
Okay, yeah. So it's a lot like what Remington was saying earlier when he was saying he went to the local nonprofits, and they were saying you're a liability. You may not be able to do it right now. Come back to us at a certain age.
Right.
And just that thought process, a lot of the chambers or a lot of the business administration or programs that help businesses, they are at that level where they take things and the first thing they're going to is the legal side of things, or really how does this fit in, and if it doesn't have our kind of a spin on it, then we may not be interested in helping you.
Right.
and that type of mentality. And so ours was our thinking was, well, why would you not want to help anybody, even if it is something that may not be necessarily your lane?
Yeah.
Because if you help somebody help something that isn't created, you're going to learn how to create something that didn't exist.
Exactly.
And so that was really where we wanted to take it. It was, we're not going to stop anybody from doing anything they say they want to do. If you want to go into business, we're going to help you get there. If you want to get a profession, we're going to help you get there. If you want to just be the next great employee, we're going to give you the skills to do that. And so the whole idea and goal is to be able to just make a better workforce. And in the process of making that workforce, there are going to be some that want to start businesses.
I think that it's so important, the message that you are giving us here right now is really the fact that, if you have this plan, Remington said, you fall 7 times and stand up 8 times, that's, I think, that's the mentality that these kids often have. And if they don't and they're inspired, all of a sudden they have that. I remember that I was in various schools, Marietta High School. I was at McEachern, Kennesaw Mountain, and others around Georgia. And it's always this question, I don't really know how to do that. I'm afraid to do it. I don't know what to do. I think organizations like chamber that reaches out and gives them a platform is ideal for these students to really go and, take action and become involved and fulfill their dream. And if it's not the first one, it might be the second or the third one. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of successful stories out there of students who really started young and, became business leaders.
Right. And the challenge is that, what we've seen, the challenge is most people just aren't privy to education.
Mm-hmm.
And even just simple education, like, okay, us being, our primary office at that time was in Decatur, Georgia, and Remington being based in Forsyth. So just without the Kids-Business-Expo, that central point where we met, how would we have come into contact and met, and met each other and able to grow that relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things most people aren't given that opportunity. And so chambers, from what we've seen, are supposed to be able to give that opportunity to the person that says they want to be around the business environment. They want to know what's going on in the business community. And for whatever reason, a lot of the chambers, because it's a lot. And so if you focus on one thing, business development, then you're not really focused on business networking. You're not focused on, these other areas. And so for us, when we started, it was how do we incorporate being able to have these events where people can come out, meet people they wouldn't have, normally ran across in an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And then still incorporate being able to create a business and helping them develop that business. Like Marcus Lemonis, he just got on television. We never heard of this man. He was just on television. And all of a sudden, here he is standing in front of us at the Kids-Business-Expo. And, for us, that was like, what is this? And it was funny. I was telling my team when we left, you do like recaps of the event. How successful was it for us? When we did our recap, I told everybody, man, we were going in there because you know how you have like, you say you're a business, so you go in there thinking I'm somebody, right? So we went in there, we were thinking, we're gonna go around people, they're not even gonna know who we are, we're gonna be something. We got there and we realized all these other people out here are doing things. You're the nobody. It's like all this stuff is happening around you that you had no idea was going on. And it's like, well, how do you get there? How do you get to that point where you're amongst that group of people that are doing something and you can say, hey, I know these people, I've had a chance to meet and shake this person's hand. Just that feeling, we want to be able to take that to everybody and not just a select group of people that get that opportunity.
Well, I love the fact that you're referring to Kids Business Expo. Of course, it's a great. I appreciate that.
Right.
But really, the Kids Business Expo and continues to be a meeting point.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that when we are providing kids as young as 8 with a platform where they can learn and where they see that others have the same challenges and the same obstacles to overcome, but at the same time, the same motivation and love for business, that's a great platform for new ideas, being inspired and coming up with something new.
Right.
And so, if someone wants to become a member of your chamber, how do they do that?
Okay, definitely. Real quick, I want to, what is it called? When you make like you talk about something that's coming up. What is that called? Like, I don't know, blur, whatever you want to call it. But coming up in March, we've got the Georgia Minority Business Awards.
That's coming up. That's right. Yeah. Tell us about that real quick. Come on.
And
jump in.
In the bio, I forgot to actually change it. In the bio, it says I co-hosted. This year, it's officially given to the chamber, so it's our.
I was about
show.
to ask you that question, but you jumped it right here, right now. So
it's our award show. I'm right now. I'm the president and CEO of that as well.
No.
And the goal is to take it from where it is now. It has minority in it, so of course we're dealing with African Americans, Asians, and Latinos, and so I want to just really take it and just expand it to just the Georgia Business Award, something that is just the entire Georgia business community, being able to just showcase that entire community in an award show, and then our long-term, like you're saying, long-term goal is to take it to television and take it to Universal type of an award show that you don't see on TV. A lot of times we see the movie stars, we see the entertainers, we see all this, the glorified life, but we don't see the people who are out here doing the actual, keeping the country moving. Those people, they give them their opportunity to shine, And so This year is going to be held, I think, March 24th. Actually, after this, I got a meeting, try to figure out how to start setting it up and things like that. Go through getting a host, because I'm not going to host this year.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
So I got to sit there and shake all the hands this year.
All right.
You know?
Good deal. Oh, moving up.
Absolutely. And so definitely for anybody that's interested in getting communication with us, and that way when we see, we're going to have it up on our website and all that kind of stuff, you're going to go to www.thefecc.com, and then also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's official_FECC, and the Facebook is Future Entrepreneurs Chamber of Commerce.
Talking about, we've talked about a lot of positive things,
Right.
but I've seen a lot of challenges that entrepreneurs have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
What are the challenges that everybody here has? Remington has already mentioned it. The age is is a challenge.
Right.
For a lot of kids out there, it's probably the lack of support at home, that they don't necessarily have someone who truly believes in what they're doing. It can be the financial side, that they are not, they're not cash flow driven. They don't have that.
Right.
But what is it that you have seen, but you can give someone advice on your end, where to go, what to do?
Definitely. So it's like Remington saying, for a younger person, that someone telling you can't do something because you're too young and something like that, that is a challenge to get over. But as long as you want to do it, you'll overcome that eventually, right? One of the challenges that I've seen that I really want to talk about is your own self-willingness. I'm working with a student down in Savannah. So he not necessarily, college is going to be a challenge for him, and he knows that right now. And getting a job isn't really a challenge, but he wants more than just a job, because he's seen, he's looking at my life and he's saying, well, how are you doing all this stuff? You didn't really finish college or whatever. And so I'm saying, well, I started a business. I'm telling you that there's opportunity in starting a business if you want to do it. So he said, okay, I want to start a business. So he started a cleaning business. So then I said, okay, well, you're going to go out here, you're going to get, just go find maybe 1 or 2 shops, like barber shops, stuff like that. Just get your business a little bit started, clean, get some money coming in, right? So he did that. And so after he did that, I said, okay, well, now we're ready to take it to the next level. I'm going to send you some information that's going to show you some of the basic first steps of legitimately starting a business. Right. And so I sent it to him. He went over it for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and he called me back. And he said, well, this stuff is kind of difficult. I don't know if I really want to, continue doing this. And I said, you were gung ho, 2 weeks ago. Right. What happened to the spirit that you had? And he, and it's just that idea that, okay, I want to do something, but it's not going to be easy. Right. And that thought that, cleaning is easy. Yeah, that's the easy part. But after the cleaning, you got to do the books. You got to do the promotion. You got to do the marketing. You got to do the employees. You got to do everything in the business. It's a challenge. Yeah. And you have to want to do that. And if you say you want to do it, it has to come from within. It can't be, you saw something and you just thought, hey, I want to try to go out here and do that. No, you got to really study it, really want to do it, really mean it. And if you really want to do it, everything else that comes along with it, you'll persevere through it because you want to get to this end goal and you want to get there. And for him, I know it was a money thing, so he just saw money. And that can't be, your driving force, because you could go get a job and get money. And so, you got to be able to want to do something and really put it inside you and say, no, I'm going to do this. And like Remington, he wants to help people. I can see it in his pictures. I can see it in his speech. And when I listen to him, I can tell, no, he enjoys that. So he's going to do that his entire life, regardless if someone says, here's money to do it, he's going to do it. And so that's what it's all about, being able to just do something because it's innate. It's in you to say, I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to do this. I'm going to clean shops. I'm going to develop this to be something bigger than what it started out as.
We talked at the first part of our program, we talked about the importance of financials. And we're sort of, getting towards the end of this, but we have talked a lot about how businesses can be inspired, how entrepreneurs can be inspired. But you touched a great point, and I would love for Leilani to go back and give us those topics one more time, run down those points again, which are so critical for someone to look and understand that financials are critical, because without the critical, the financials in the background, your business might not make it, So can you run that down one more time so that people can write it down?
Yes. So definitely when you're starting a business, you're going to be looking at the budgeting. You're going to be looking at the financial goal planning. And the goal setting was something that I hit on. And with both of these, they need to be written down. So with the goal setting, again, very realistic, very specific, having a time frame, and having the action. So what you're getting into is the who, what, when, where, and why of the business. That's
exactly what I wanted to hear again. Awesome. That's perfect. When I said at the beginning we had over 70 questions, I'm looking at the list, and we really covered the ones that I had. So I want to thank everybody again for taking the time to send questions in. We had it literally from Chattanooga. We had some in Raleigh. We had Nashville. We had Woodstock, Georgia. We had some over in Florida, and when we're talking about platforms for kids to learn, let's talk real quick about what TV shows can inspire you as a young entrepreneur to watch alone or with your family. I would recommend to do it with your family because that's what we do. We watch, Shark Tank and Undercover Boss, and Marcus Lemonis is definitely a must. If you want to learn about how to successfully run a business and what it takes to switch your business from not so great to successful. And these TV shows are, to me, very inspirational. And Kaylin, our daughter, actually came to me on one day on the way to school, said, Dad, why don't you launch kids business or a trade show for kids and teach them how to become entrepreneurs? But it was all based on these TV shows. So I want to open the mic real quick here to everyone. Tell me, what are you watching that inspires you, that drives you to the next level?
You want me to?
Well, me as a teen entrepreneur, I watch Shark Tank, I watch The Profit, I watch Undercover Boss, all the three shows that you mentioned. Those are
Okay.
And I don't watch TV often, but when I do, it's not like unproductive shows. I watch educational things because that's what interests me and that's what I'm into. So it's Shark Tank, Undercover Boss, and Profit is really the three main shows that I watch.
Okay, what about you, Ryan?
Oh, the same thing, absolutely. And then I watch it with my family.
Right.
And then, like I said, just watching it and seeing, thinking in your mind, that can never be me, right? That can never be me. But then you go to the kids-business-expo and you see Marcus Lemonis standing in front of you. And, we're there as Remington he asks Remington to give his 30-minute speech, and we're like, this is what's happening here. It is this whole moment is just, it engrossed us at that moment. Like, man, this is real. And, these people exist, and we can actually be the next Marcus Lemonis if we just follow along, the path of life that we're setting for ourselves. Right. And it's just like that thought keeps me going every morning. Also, besides those sales, I watch a lot of golf because I like golf. And then on top of that, for me, golf is very pro-business to me, not just being able to be on the golf course and exchanging ideas, but just the idea of when you study golf and what they actually do, perseverance, training, education, and then being able to apply it, to me, I take it back tenfold and just apply all of it back to business. And so...
Well, I find it super interesting that people are transferring these things. What about you, Leilani? What are you watching? If you have time to watch.
I watch for pleasure to relax.
Okay.
So, but what I wanted to go back to was what Uriah was saying about education and getting that education, definitely in the school system through the business classes, but just talking to people and just learning from others. And that might be through the networking, it might be through your neighbors, it might be through your parents, but getting their input on what they see as what will help you for your business. And going back to what Remington was saying that I wanted to stress was what he said about you're never too young. My kids had a business in elementary school and did very well with it, mowing lawns, pressure washing, picking up the newspaper, etc. You're never too young, and don't let anyone tell you that. And it's not necessarily a financial situation. Anyone can start a business.
Well, just to go back real quick to the Kids Business Expo that is coming up in October, I want to really put out an invitation to everybody out there. If you want to have your child be motivated, and if you want to learn Kids Business Expo can be that starting point for you. On top of that, what we did last year was a combination of a keynote, which was Marcus Lemonis, of course, followed by a panel discussion where we had Remington on stage as one of the panelists, and we opened up the forum. We asked questions. We wanted to hear what started your passion and how can you share your experience. And then we had workshops, and we will have workshops again. It's October 8th at the Galleria here in Atlanta, and we will continue to have an expo. There's a lot of things going on right now, so if you're a business out there that has a commitment to youth and youth entrepreneurship, if you want to participate in sharing your vision and your company and your products, Kids Business Expo is a great platform for you to reach out. And to all of those organizations out there that are looking at opportunities to probably, have a program and they don't really know how to do that, join us at Kids Business Expo because we are wide open. We want to have various groups. There is absolutely, no limitation to where you're from. We had 21 states across the U.S. participating in the event. We had over 800 attendees badged. And from the way that Kids Business Expo right now is going, we would love to have more businesses there. You have the opportunity to sponsor. There's corporate sponsorships if you're interested in that. We're spreading the message for the next 10 months. There's plenty of opportunities for you to get involved. And, we had Remington there. We had Uriah there. We had a lot of people there who really had a platform and wanted to explore and find out how they can make a difference in people's lives. And so that's what Kids Business Expo is really all about. Because that was one of the questions that actually came in was, will Kids Business Expo come to other cities? Mm-hmm. We are considering it right now. We are thinking about what we can do and where this program can go. We are in discussions with several cities around the U.S. where we could take Kids Business Expo. And at the end of the day, really the importance is how can we all make a difference in the lives of youth entrepreneurs? Through elementary, middle, and high school, it's out there. And everybody who is here today had pretty much the same message. Go for it. Don't sit still. Follow your dream. Follow your passion. And Kids Business Radio really is here to help you to get your voice out. So if you're interested in joining us to become a guest on Kids Business Radio, feel free to go on kidsbusinessradio.com and click to become a guest and fill out the questionnaire and you're on. And if you want to learn more about Kids Business Expo, it's kidsbusinessexpo.com. And you can also call us at 404-735-5646 and send us a message via email at info@kidsbusinessexpo.com. So one more round to let me know how can everybody get a hold of you. Let me start ladies first. Give us, again, one more time the rundown because we cannot stress it enough to how we can reach our guests here. And it's important that all of you out there have that platform to connect with our guests and, learn and communicate and network. So, Leilani, please.
I appreciate it. I enjoy talking with groups of teenagers on soft skills and financial education. So please contact me at leilani.plendl@prudential.com or my LinkedIn page, or I have a professional Facebook page.
Uriah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Even just, this radio show in a whole, people don't, they don't hear Kids Business on the radio. So we got to get this message out there. Just go listen to the radio, guys. I like that it's on the internet. That at least is in their pathway. So, but definitely go to the website www.thefecc.com, and if you actually click Meet the Team, you'll be able to see the rest of the officers and be able to follow them on their respective. Like myself, you'll be able to follow myself on my own personal Twitter, Instagram, and all that. But the Chamber's Twitter and Instagram is official_FECC, and then the Facebook is Future Entrepreneurs Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
Yes.
And Remington.
Our website is www.chamberofcommerce.com. change4georgia.org. Our Facebook and Twitter handle is change4Georgia with no spaces in between. You can find me on LinkedIn at just Remington Youngblood, spelled just like it sounds. And our email is change4Georgia@gmail.com.
So, in closing, make sure that you are, tuning in the February edition of Kids Business Radio. We are about chaired out, if I want to say that. We have one spot left for a guest. So, if you're interested in joining us in February, please do so. Make sure that you are tuning in. If you are looking for a great platform to communicate your business out there, go on the probusinesschannel.com website and make sure that you are finding a platform for your business to be out there, because we love to be here and we definitely appreciate all the things that we get here and the platform that we have with the radio show. So thanks again to Rich and to Greg for giving us that opportunity. And this is pretty much it, I believe. Is that correct, Rich?
Absolutely. Another great show.
All right. Well, thank you again for listening in. Thank you for all of our guests and those who are sitting back there applauding us. We love that as well. Thank you for that. Perfect. All right. Yeah. And this concludes Kids Business Radio. I was sort of watching it. Thank you, man, for that.
For joining dirk-ebener and his guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media links here to share today's show and stay tuned for the next episode of Kids Business Radio.